Projects are commissioned by organizations, so it stands to reason that these organizations will exercise some influence over the project. That much is obvious. The question is, how will they go about doing so? And how does the structure of the organization affect the project manager and his or her authority and ability to control project resources? Over and above the organizational structure's influence, we should also think about the organization's culture and maturity in terms of projects executed. So what are the influencing factors in an organization? Now, the project management body of knowledge divides organizational influence into two main contributing groups, namely organizational process assets, or OPA, and enterprise environmental factors, or EEF. So what are organizational process assets? Organizational process assets are the policies, procedures, and knowledge foundations specific to an organization. They include any template, practice, or knowledge from any or all of the organizations involved in a project that can be used to perform the project work. Organizational process assets can be grouped into two main categories, namely processes and procedures and corporate knowledge base. So processes and procedures include all the established processes that an organization makes use of to conduct project work. These can include things like guidelines, templates, standards, financial and risk control procedures, project closure guides, etc. Now, the corporate knowledge base refers to the knowledge that the organization has amassed and stored, and includes financial databases, lessons learned databases, project files from previous projects, etc. Now, organizational process assets, in essence, is the knowledge gathered and processes developed which can be used to guide and assist project and work execution. Enterprise environmental factors, or EEFs. So enterprise environmental factors refer to the conditions that are not under the direct control of the project team, but will influence and constrain or enhance the project. Now, enterprise environmental factors vary widely in nature and type, but typical examples of EEFs include organizational culture and style, organizational structure, geographic distribution, economic climate, political climate, regulatory standards, and so forth. So let's look at organizational culture and style. Now, it is of extreme importance that a project manager understands the organizational culture of the organization for whom a project is managed. This way, he or she can align with the right individuals and influences and work with them to achieve project success. And not only that, but the project manager will also enable him or herself to act in alignment with the shared notion of how things should be done, and in the process get better cooperation from team members and stakeholders. As the world gets more and more connected through technological advances, it becomes more and more necessary for project managers to have multicultural competency. Right, organizational culture is a system of shared values and beliefs, which have a very strong influence on how employees act, dress, and go about doing their work in an organization. Every organization develops and maintains a unique culture, which provides guidelines and boundaries for the behavior of the members of the organization. The development of an organizational culture is shaped by shared experiences, which can include a code of conduct, work ethic, work hours, management's view on flexibility, the approachability of management, motivation and reward systems, and the likes. So now let's have a look at organizational structures. The structure of an organization and a project manager's placement in that structure has a very big influence on the project manager's level of authority and his or her ability to control resource availability. It is important that project managers understand the structure of the organization so as to align themselves with the right individuals and managers to enable easy access to resources. Generally, there are three main types of organizational structures, namely functional, matrix, ranging from weak to strong matrix organizations, and projectized organizations. So let's look at functional structures. In this structure, each employee has one clear superior, which is the functional manager. Now, the superior manages a certain business function or division, such as engineering, marketing, or accounting. Each functional department will execute project work independently of the other departments, and the project is coordinated at a functional management level. In other words, when we look at the organogram here below, the project coordination occurs at the functional manager level, which is the mid-tier level. And project staff can be distributed between various functions, and they have to be coordinated at the managerial level. Next, we'll have a look at weak matrix structures. Now, matrix type structures are a mixture between functional and projectized structures. Weak matrix structures are very much the same as functional structures, the difference being that project coordination occurs at the staff level, and the project manager takes the role of an expediter. Now, the expediter coordinates communication but does not have authority to make decisions. In other words, the project manager's authority is very limited. He still has to go through functional managers in order to get approvals for any cost changes or the like. So the only difference really between a functional structure and a weak matrix structure is that project coordination is done at the staff level. Balanced matrix structures. A balanced matrix structure is halfway between the projectized and functional structures. The organization realizes the need for a project manager, but he or she does not have full authority over projects and funds. Here, project managers are referred to as project coordinators. They have some authority to make decisions, but still report to the functional managers. The difference between a weak matrix structure and a balanced matrix structure basically lies in the fact that a staff member is assigned the authority of a project coordinator. So he has a bit more authority than the project managers would have in weak matrix structures, but he still has to go through the functional managers for approvals. At least he can make some level of decisions on his own, though. Strong matrix structures. Now, a strong matrix structure shares many of the traits of a projectized structure, but projects are still coordinated at a staff level. Now, this type of organization has full-time project managers with considerable authority and full-time project administrative staff. Project managers usually report to the project management or project manager functional head, referred to as the manager of project managers. So the difference between the strong matrix structures and a balanced matrix structure, for instance, lies in the fact that the organization has a department for project management, basically. However, the projects are still coordinated at the staff level. Projectized structures. Now, they differ completely from functional structures in that most of the organization's resources are involved in the project work. Now, project managers also have a great deal of independence and authority. Projectized organizations also have organizational units, which are referred to as departments, but they report directly to the project manager. So here we have project managers at the head of departments. All staff in that department works on the project and under the project manager, and the project coordination basically occurs within each of these project departments, so to speak. Lastly, we have composite structures. Now, composite organizations are those that involve all of these different structures at various levels. For instance, a fundamentally functional organization may create a special project team which shares the same attributes as a department within a projectized structure, or a projectized organization may consist of other functional units being managed separately. So organizational structures influence the following project characteristics: the project manager's authority and role, resource availability, team composition, and budget control. So just a quick recap: it is important that project managers are well aware of the type of organizational structure that the organization within which they have to manage a project has, so that they can align themselves with the correct individuals to make sure that they can negotiate resource availability, exercise some form of control over budget, albeit through managers or functional managers, whichever the case may be. And they must also be quite aware of the culture within the company so that they can make sure that they execute the work in alignment with what the expectations of the employees in that company is.